Hello. Today we'll examine the 1863 New York Massacre. We will look at the causes, the events leading up to it, the description, the aftermath, the impact to the community, and finally, the legacy it left. I will see you at the end of the video.
The New York 1863 massacre is one of the darkest chapters in American history. The causes of the massacre are complex and multifaceted. However, some of the most important factors include racism. The massacre was rooted in deep-seated racism and anti-immigrant sentiment. African Americans and Irish immigrants were seen as inferior and a threat to the white working class. Economic hardship. The massacre took place during a time of economic hardship, which exacerbated social tensions, political instability. The country was in the midst of the Civil War, and there was a great deal of political and social turmoil. The events leading up to the massacre began on July 13, 1863, when a draft riot broke out in New York City. The riot was sparked by anger over the passage of the Conscription Act, which required all men between the ages of 20 and 45 to serve in the military. The rioters quickly turned their attention to African Americans and Irish immigrants. They attacked and killed hundreds of people, burned down homes and businesses, and looted stores. The massacre lasted for 3 days and was one of the deadliest incidents of racial violence in American history. Over 1,000 people were killed and thousands more were injured. The rioters targeted African Americans and Irish immigrants with indiscriminate violence. They dragged people out of their homes and businesses, beat them, and shot them. They also set fire to buildings and looted stores. The aftermath of the massacre was devastating. Many families were left homeless and penniless. There was a deep sense of fear and trauma in the community. The massacre also had a significant impact on the Civil War effort. It showed that the North was not immune to racial violence and that the war was not just a fight to save the Union, but also a fight for racial equality. The massacre had a profound impact on the African American and Irish immigrant communities in New York City. The rioters targeted these communities with indiscriminate violence, leaving many people dead, injured, and homeless. The massacre also created a deep sense of fear and trauma in these communities. Many people were afraid to leave their homes, and many children were too afraid to go to school. The massacre also had a significant impact on the relationship between African Americans and Irish immigrants. The rioters had pitted these two groups against each other, and it took many years to rebuild trust between them. The legacy of the New York 1863 massacre is complex and multifaceted. The massacre was a horrific event that had a profound impact on the African American and Irish immigrant communities in New York City. The massacre also serves as a reminder of the dangers of racism and hatred. It is a reminder that we must all work together to create a more just and equitable society.
The New York Massacre of 1863 was a wound that would never fully heal. It was a reminder of the darkness that lurked in the human heart, but it also showed the strength of the human spirit. But the bitterness of the massacre never truly left the hearts of those who remembered it. It was a reminder of the price that was paid for freedom, and it was a warning to future generations to never take their rights for granted.